Jamaica has been acing its debt pay down, and you might not have heard much about this in the normal media or social media platforms. Nevertheless, the IMF and many other groups have been praising Jamaica for the strides that it has made in trying to clear off its high debt level that it had in the early parts of the 2010s, and now that it has arrived in the 2020s, the way in which it has made that stride to progress and continues to do so. And I'm just going to share some of that information with you here, and to give you some value of how this has worked, we will compare with some other countries to see what their debt to GDP ratio is compared to where Jamaica is at now.
The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me. Yeah.
Hello, Wagwan. Big up yourself, whether you're there yard or you're there abroad. Welcome back to another episode of Life with the Jam Fam. On this episode, we are going to be looking at a comparison with debt to GDP ratio for some countries and the strides that Jamaica has made to reduce its debt to GDP ratio as it continues to grow out its economy. Debt pay down, whether it's in our personal life or in businesses and organization, is going to take a lot of strategic maneuverings in order for it to happen. In some countries, you've heard of the word austerity that they have imposed on the society in order to be able to clear off debt or manage their spending on public services and other aspects of their country and their development. And Jamaica has gone through some of those same issues, and we will talk about them more in detail shortly. Before that, though, we're going to be looking at some of the countries that are in the top 10 in terms of debt to GDP ratio across the world, and also compare to see the quantity of debt they have as well as the relationship it has in terms of their GDP. That is the gross domestic product, the amount of earnings that the country has in any given year. So let's take a start with the country in position number 1. So a lot of this has a lot of numbers involved. However, I'm going to share them as succinctly as I possibly can. So the country in number 1 is the United States of America. Now, the USA has a gross debt of $35,293 billion. That is 34.6% of the world's overall debt level. The United States debt to GDP ratio is 121%. The United States remains the largest contributor to global debt. And of course, with any debt you have, you are going to be servicing interest, and their interest cost is helping to increase their overall debt that they owe. Now, the next country in the list that we're going to be looking at is the country that is sitting in the number 3 position, and this is Japan. Now, Japan is a country that has a gross debt of $10,224.1 billion. That is 10% of the world's total debt. And it also has a debt to GDP ratio of 251.2%. Now, this is driven by an aging population in the country, and therefore we are here to watch to see how this debt is going to progress. Now, the country in the 4th position is the United Kingdom, and the United Kingdom is carrying a debt of $3,652.1 billion. Now, this is their gross debt, and this is 3.6% of the world's total debt. Now, the United Kingdom also has a debt to GDP ratio of 101.8%. The United Kingdom's debt levels is a reflection of the pressures from public service spending within the country. The country in position number 5 is France, and France has a total of $3,564.5 billion in gross debt, which is 3.5% of the world's total debt. France also has a debt to GDP ratio of 112.3%. France's debt is driven by their spending in things like healthcare, pension schemes, and other public sector spending. Now, the country that is sitting in position number 6 is Italy, and Italy is at a debt carriage of $3,000 $1,253.4 billion. And this is their gross debt, which is 3.2% of the world's total. Now, Italy also has a debt to GDP ratio of 136.9%. Italy is facing long-term challenges due to their high public spending. The country that is sitting in position number 9 is Canada, and Canada is carrying a total gross debt of $2,349.9 billion. And this is 2.3% of the world's total debt. It also has a debt to GDP ratio of 106.1%. Canada's debt reflects increased spending on social programs and also infrastructure development. Now, you would have noticed that some countries that were supposed to be in this top 10 list were not mentioned, and I will go through them here. The reason they weren't mentioned is because their debt to GDP ratio is less than 100%. Now, these countries are China, which is in number 2, so that means it still has a significant amount of debt in terms of the world total debt. Then there is India, who is in position 7, Germany in position 8, and Brazil in position 10. Now, the information used in this video thus far were gathered from the IMF website as well as from Business Day, from an article that is written by Michael. You may or may not be aware that Jamaica has had 18 arrangements with IMF since they became a member. Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, website indicates that Jamaica's debt has been reducing, and it's reduced its debt from 144% of gross domestic product in 2012 to 72% in 2023. Now, it's also very great to acknowledge that the economy has grown in that period of time, and so has the gross domestic product. Nevertheless, the debt total has been paid down significantly to bring us to this point, and we will look at what that is shortly. Now, the IMF has praised Jamaica's debt reduction effort and has noticed that the country has a strong track record in terms of its investment institutions and prioritizing macroeconomic stability. The IMF also said that the Jamaica's debt is sustainable and that fiscal surpluses and prudent debt management are keeping Jamaica's gross financial needs low. Now, on November 30th of 2024, the debt was, and this is Jamaica's debt, was sitting at USD $721,104,174. And on December 27th of 2024, the debt was at $707,835,000. Now, this is showing that this pay down is continuing to happen as Jamaica is building out its economy and planning out its future. Now, this pay down has definitely had significant impacts at home. Although there has been a staggered increase in government employees' pay packages, which had started from 2021 and has been building out to get to its peak by the end of 2025. And there are other reviews that are slated to take place. The government is ensuring that they're also investing in areas like tourism, residential, and also manufacturing sectors. Investment is also taking place in areas like education, healthcare, social care, and other public spending that has been happening. Nevertheless, the country has also experienced some aspect of austerity in several areas. Now, these include things such as the resurfacing of certain roads, the maintenance and repairs of certain facilities, and consistent cutbacks on spending in certain areas, which, as I've mentioned before, is understandable. The UK has done it, Canada has done it, the US has done it. Countries across the world do put in measures of austerity in order to help them to manage the country's spending and reduce debt buildup. Paying down debt in our personal finances requires one of two things, or sometimes both of these things. We're either going to increase our revenue or we're going to need to cut back on expenses. Jamaica has implemented both of these and has been able to pull themselves out from under the palm of the IMF, although still remaining somewhat under its thumb. This is a monumental change for the country. Hopefully, this pay down will continue, And more investment will be done internally in the essential areas of local infrastructure, public service allocations, and educating the Jamaican populace so they can be in a better position to collectively and consciously play their part in this journey of debt management. The Jamaican people are proud people and they appreciate their freedom and autonomy. If they can see the vision and understand it, it will make a significant difference in them cooperatively playing their part in the achievement of a debt-free nation. What are your views on Jamaica's debt paydown? Do you think that this was a good choice of action, or do you think that alternative approaches should have been taken? Please let us know your view in the comment section below. What are you looking forward to the most?
Going home.
Why?
I want to eat and I want to sleep.
Aww.
I want to talk to my friends.
Aww. You want to talk to your friends? Okay then. That's all good.
You sounded very British. I want to talk to your friends.
As I go. I'm actually excited for this weekend because I'm looking forward to tomorrow for the activity that you have planned. If you want to.
We're going to bake my birthday.
Okay, so you're excited about making the cake. Why do you want to make a cake instead of buying one like we normally would do?
I don't really like Jamaican cake. It tastes wrong.
Okay, because I remember you bought the red velvet last time. You were looking forward to that.
Play-Doh or plastic.
You didn't like how it tastes.
It tastes like, but if I would imagine that's how it is.
I mean, the fruit cake we bought the other day was what did taste nice and it was moist. Except, oh my gosh, I had to eat it in. Oh my goodness, it was, wasn't it?
Never. I only eat the part that was on the knife.
Yeah, because when because the first piece I had to go and sat down and it wasn't a big piece.
On the knife. So I couldn't imagine how you were after the slides.
And I believe that I was just like, no, I have to have this in such small increments because of it, and drink lots of water afterwards. So though it was lovely and moist, and I don't recall it being the same last year when we bought the same one, last holiday when we bought it. It wasn't that alcoholic in taste. This time they drenched it with way too much, and it's not just Red Label. It seemed like they've used Ray and him nephew on it. But hopefully, where are you hiding from? The bee? Look at her over there hiding from a bee. Oh, you look so. It's not coming to you. You look so sun-kissed. Ah, look at her blushing from her mommy's compliment.
I cannot blush.
Well, people can't see your blush in your cheeks, but we can spot that you are. Ready to go home? Well, let's go do that then. My pressure cooker handle broke the other day and I was at a point of thinking, well, what am I going to do? Because the lid it fell off the countertop onto the floor and shattered. And I was like, what am I going to do to replace it? Fortunately for me, I was able to find a replacement handle online, and one of my cousins in New York bought the handle for me and sent it to me with my father, who was coming back from his holiday there, and I was able to fit that up. It turns out though that these replacement handles are actually sold in some of the wholesales in downtown Kingston, and I haven't seen any of it in my city that I live. So it would be good to know, are these things readily available that you can find so you don't have to buy a whole new pressure cooker just because you have damaged the handles? This is what I've done. So I've had to take off the old handle. Those are all of the bits, some of the tools, and voila, I now have my pressure cooker working again. So there it is, the handle on, and everything works. It opens, it closes. I'm so proud of myself for getting it all fitted up. I am so happy to have it all fitted up and finished, ready and in functioning order once again. Cuz if you're watching, thank you very much for helping to make it all possible.
The Jam Fam family. Where Irie living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. The Jam Fam family. Where Irie living the good life. We're royal, cruising through the West Indies, having fun, enjoying the good life. Jam Fam family, the Jam Fam family, yeah. The Jam Fam family. Jam Fam, come hang with me, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you for staying with us here on this another episode of Life with the Jam Fam. We appreciate your quality time that you spend with us, and we appreciate your engagement in the comment section. If you like this video, please remember to share it with someone who would appreciate the content that was shared here. Bye for now, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.